Just got everything set up. Perfect. So ladies, I've got you all on gallery view. I'm going to try and keep an eye on you as usual. So if you've got the camera set so I can see as much of you as possible, that would be really good. Pop me on speaker view and hopefully I'll come up full screen for you. So we're going to start in a really comfy seated position. I don't know if anyone's got an achy pubic bone or SPD because nobody's mentioned that tonight, but if you do, just kind of give me a wave if you've got a really sore pubic bone, struggling to stand on one leg to do your shoes up and things. Okay, no, fantastic. So that means everybody, we can sit on our cushion or our pillow or our blocks, whatever you've got to hand, and just come into an easy pose. So not cross-legged, which keeps the knees quite high. Easy pose, we have one foot closer into the body, then the other foot slightly in front of that again. You've got space around both ankles and you get much more of the legs on the floor. And then when we get there, we're just going to roll into sitting bone and into sitting bone. Just seeing how that feels to take weight on one side of the pelvis and then the other. Good, take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And then as you come back to center, we're going to roll the shoulders. So probably up, back and down is going to suit most bodies, especially if you've been sat at a desk today, doing any Zoom work or computer work. And just let the head move up and down and notice any tingles running down your back. Notice any tension or knots that you might feel in your shoulders. And then we're going to turn the palms up. And tonight, we're going to let the middle finger and the thumb lightly meet. So it's a little bit like the OK sign, but we're going to do it with the middle finger. And then with the hands facing up, just rest them on the knees. So this mudra, as you close your eyes and connect into that tingly sensation in the tips of the fingers, is all about patience. It's all about calm. And it's all about finding that little bit of space of awareness so that we can perhaps be a bit more discerning about what we engage with, a bit more discerning about what we're thinking about, how are our thoughts, where are they racing off to, what direction, and can we rein that back in? And a little bit discerning about where we're putting our energy and remembering that we're in charge of that decision. So when we close the laptop and finish our work, can we really leave it there? Or when we've had that discussion about careers or with the boss or with the estate agent, and there's some action that we need to do, can we do that action? It's done, and then can we leave it there? So that we're not carrying that load with us, ruminating, mulling it over again and again and again, which when the brain gets a bit busy like that is very draining for the body. It gets very exhausted. So thinking about clearing the decks, finding that sense of patience and calm and discernment as you just sense into the fingertips and take a big deep breath into your whole body and a lovely big sigh out. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and a soft jaw, as if you're steaming up a mirror held in front of your face. And just working into that deep, slow breath. Allowing the belly to fill up with breath as you inhale. Maybe feeling a sense of sitting up a little bit taller. And then exhaling, letting every drop of breath leave the body. Feeling that pause after the exhalation when nothing happens, and we can find that sense of calm and quietness, having that sense of our body resting upon the ground, and then feel the rush of the next inhale, a big energizing inhale, let the tummy expand, let the ribcage expand, and then exhale, the longest sigh out you can. So finding a rhythm with your own breath. Breathing in and out as you need to, being mindful not to hold the breath, but trying to elongate that breath. making it longer, slower, deeper. And really consciously in your mind's eye, sending that breath down into the belly. So you're getting a sense of the belly softening and filling out like a huge balloon. Maybe the chest lifts secondarily. And then exhaling, relaxing, feeling the ground underneath you. Good, you're going to do a few more of these deep, slow breaths before we start our practice. And every inhale is a chance to feel that sense of energizing with the inhale. And every exhale is a chance to feel grounded. Good. Now keeping your eyes closed, let's just bring the hands into prayer position for a minute in front of the heart. Take a deep breath in there. Another big exhale. And then folding the hands back out so they're palms facing up. We're going to circle the hands here over the knees. Spread the fingers wide. And I want you to imagine you can put some energy into these hands. So maybe putting in a bit more patience or a bit of self-nurture. What might that look like for you? Is that a bit more relaxation or a nice warm bath or your favourite takeaway on the sofa? Just have a think about what a bit of self-nurture, a bit of giving yourself permission to put your feet up and look after yourself looks like. And then take another big breath in. And as you exhale, just bring all that intention into your body. Bring one hand onto the heart and the other hand onto the top of the bump. And just bow the head down, relax the shoulders, take another breath in and out, and start to notice the sensation of heat in the palms of your hands. Just giving yourself that intention, that promise to do a little bit more self-nurture this week. Permission to rest. Permission to let go of things that we can't change or do anything about. And just permission to be rather than to do. Good. Now placing the hands down on the knees into a grounding mudra. Let's start to circle the body here, just gently warming up in the pelvis, lengthening the crown of the head up towards the sky, and working into those hip sockets and into the thighs. Let's have lovely soft tummies. Give the babies lots of wiggle room. And then take that deep breath in through the nose. Deep sigh out of the mouth, keeping the mouth open, the jaw soft. So your mouth and your jaw, the tension that we hold in it translates into the pelvic floor and the cervix and the birth canal. So the more we can soften the face and the jaw and even smile or laugh during labour, the more everything down below can kind of open in response. So let's keep the mouth really soft. Maybe have a big old stretch or a yawn, opening wide, relaxing the jaw again. And then let's circle the other way. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Good. Relaxing the shoulders and the neck. See if you can ease out any tension that might be there. Just softening. Good. One more big breath. Keeping the chin ever so slightly down and the crown of the head ever so slightly growing tall. Let's come back to center and we're just going to swap the legs around. So we're going to work into the opposite hip now. This time we're going to have the arms up over the head, interlacing the hands, and then a bit more circling. Growing up tall through the crown of the head, reach up as if you're painting lovely big circles with a paintbrush on the ceiling. Try and relax those legs down towards the floor. And take a big breath into the hips, into the pelvis. And a big sigh out. And we're ready. Let's circle back the other way. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Seeing if you can get your rib cage just up a little bit taller, a bit more space around the waist. And then come back to center. We're going to bring those arms down. Couple of shoulder rolls here, easing out the tension in the neck once more. And then reaching out with the hands, inhaling, reach all the way up to the sky, look at the hands, exhale, hands down towards the heart. And again, inhale, stretch out wide, lift up tall through the ribs, through the spine, and exhale down. So for lots of us, this will feel lovely to look up and lengthen the spine, but for some of us, if you've got a little creak going on in the neck or it's not comfortable, just keep the chin level. If you are looking up, find the thumbs, and just look at them as you bring the hands all the way back down through that center line. So every time we come back into that center line, this is a kind of grounding energy that we're bringing back into our body, drawing that energy from above, down through the crown of the head, past the throat and the heart, all the way down into the earth underneath us. Good, so one more here. And then just leaning into the hands, just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Remembering you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to be anywhere else in this moment. Just have that sense of connecting to the earth through the building that you're in. Sense of leaning into that support, that safety. One more breath. And then as you gently sit back up, let's take the legs out and just start with some circles, getting into those ankles and wrists. There we go. If they've been feeling a little bit swollen, this is for you, just to get that circulation going. Or if you've had any kind of cramps in the calves or restless legs, this is all good stuff. Start to bring those arms up over the head. We're going to circle the ankles and the wrists quite vigorously as you take a deep breath in to energize and a deep breath out. Good. We're going to circle the other way. We want to feel like we're trying to stir through treacle, so it starts to get a bit achy, a bit tricky to do this movement. That's kind of where we want to get to. One more breath in and out, and then we're going to just flop. So letting the legs be slightly open, the head down, take a big sigh here, and just start to observe any tingles in the hands and the feet. Just notice sensation, just clearing out your circulation. Just enjoy that endorphin rush, all those lovely tingles. Good. And then let's open the legs as wide as we comfortably can, but no wider than 90 degrees, so a little bit less than that. Kicking out through the heels, toes back to your face. We're going to sit up tall and then start to circle those hands as if you're holding a spoon and stirring a gigantic bowl of porridge. So just another nice one to get into the legs, connecting us down into our base. So let's feel really rooted, really grounded, and spread the little toe away from the big. Let's grow the spine and the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. So we're careful not to over squash the front of the bump as we come into that forward bend here. Keep growing tall. And then we're going to go the other way. Really nice work, everybody. Doing really well. Deep breath in through the nose, big sigh out through the mouth. So staying with that birth breathing practice. That's the kind of breath we want to do when we're having contractions. Making that breath audible, so you're giving yourself something to listen to, something to be distracted by. Great. Now coming back to center, we're going to hold underneath the thighs and just flip the legs in. So we're coming into butterfly. If you want more, bring the feet closer in. If you need less, take the feet further away. And as you interlace the hands around the feet, we're going to just rock again from side to side. Just seeing how one sit bone feels, then the other. And then have a sense of kind of peeling your heart forward, rolling your shoulders back, maybe squeezing your shoulder blades down and back. So you've got this kind of turning your shoulder girdle inside out feeling. Lovely long neck. Great stuff. And then coming back to center, let's move into the circles again. So lovely for making lots of space in the pelvis. Lots of space for your babies. Opening up those hips. Relaxing the thighs. Just soften, soften, soften those thighs. And then let's go the other way. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. So before we move out of this, we're just going to come back to easy pose just for a moment longer. So one foot in front of the other. This should feel more comfortable now. We've done all of our warm-ups. We're going to connect into that birth breathing practice a little bit more, and we're going to bring in a bit of sound work. So have the arms out to the side once more. This time we're going to inhale as we bring the arms all the way up, and then exhale that lovely big sigh as you bring the arms down. And we're going to try and exhale for the length of time that it takes to bring the arms down. So inhale, exhale. Go with your own pace. And I just want you to get a feel for inhaling really fully, and then just seeing how long it takes to exhale that breath out of the body. So we have to bring the arms down fairly quick. We're trying to make it as slow as we can. And we're sighing that audible breath as if we're holding a mirror in front of our face, and we're going ha onto that mirror to steam it up. So we have a bit of a feel now, give your shoulders a roll, of how long our exhalations are. And we know that when we're in labour, when we're breathing, we want to make our exhales a bit longer to send calming signals around the body and increase that oxytocin. So now we're going to bring in some sound work. We're going to use the sound ooh. Why? Because if we used ah, it's too high pitched, it's too scared, it alerts our nervous system to a threat, whereas the ooh noise doesn't. The ooh noise keeps us nice and calm. So when we're birthing and things are getting really strong and we start making noises, if you hear yourself going off into a kind of ah noise, maybe try and get your birth partner or yourself to just kind of bring you back into an ooh-y noise. Okay, so we're going to practice a few oohs now. You can't hear each other, so don't worry about how it sounds. And what I want you to have a feel of is as we bring the arms down, we're going to notice that it's going to take a lot longer when we ooh to exhale all that breath out of the body. The arms are going to go much slower, which means you're sending more oxygen, oxytocin, more endorphins, more calming signals around your nervous system. And this is really helpful for when we're in labour. Obviously, you won't be doing the arms in labour, you'll just be doing the sounds. This is just to show you how the sound works. So we'll do one more breath in and out as we were. Inhale, and just exhale normally. Have a sense of how fast that takes us. And then we're going to do 3 oohs. So deep breath in, and nice low, slow ooh. Good, so really take your time. Inhale again. Ooh. And we'll do one more, calming our nervous systems today as well. Ooh. And then a little roll of your shoulders. Just place the hands on the heart and bow the head and just take a moment, pressing pause in our practice to find some stillness and some quietness. And just kind of feel into the sense of the effect of those 3 long ooey exhalations. Hopefully feel a bit softer. Can we soften into that more? Maybe feeling a bit more grounded. Lengthening our exhale is kind of the fastest way to affect change in our nervous system. So we're going to take that into the next bit of the practice. Let's turn our legs into mermaid, pressing up into all fours. We're going to move into a kind of birth practice part of the session. There's so many of you ladies coming up to full term. Have your toes under or your feet flat on the floor. Knees a bit wider than hip distance apart, just an inch. So you've got more wiggle room for your bump. And then hands kind of under the shoulders. If your wrists ache, take them forwards about another 2 inches and bend your elbows. So that will help you use the whole of your hand and not get sore wrists. Now we're going to start with our lovely circles here, ladies, circling over the shoulders or the shoulders over the wrists, circling the bottom over the knees, and then taking that deep breath into the tummy, that long sigh out, which can feel really amazing when we're having strong sensations with our contractions. And now we're going to bring in the ooze again. So taking that deep breath in, start to ooh the breath away. Ooh. Take another breath in. We're going to change direction. You don't have to change direction when you're actually in labour, but for today, let's balance out the body. And then on your next exhale, let's take another long, slow, low, deep ooh. Ooh. Good, now we're going to come into our resting position. So knees wide, toes together, head down, and just take a little pause as you sigh here. If your head doesn't reach the floor, stack your hands so you've got your head on the hands. Now take a sigh here and relax, and maybe shift the breathing into making a little hole in the lips and blowing out a really long, slow exhale again, as if you're blowing out 100 birthday candles that won't go out. And with every long exhale, think and feel the word relax or soften as you melt into the floor. Now, when we're really birthing, our oohs might sound like they've, come out all in one note. Ooh. Or they might go all over the place and start to sound quite animally from the bottom of your gut and be a bit more mooey and ooey. Just let the sound come out as you need to express yourself. But if you hear yourself getting a bit high-pitched, a bit shrilly, trying to come up away from the floor on your tiptoes, and it goes a little bit like, ah, like you've cut your arm, just know that that's going to start sending some panic signals around the body, and redirect your sound to the ooze. It's much more helpful. Also keeps your pelvic floor soft and open. So inhaling, let's come back up into our all fours. This time we're going to move into a figure of 8. Another great move for labour. Let's take a deep breath in, breathing in through the nose, and then a big sigh out of an open mouth, steaming up the mirror. Let the head lead and the body follow. Any niggles in your back, make your movement smaller or slower. Now let's all just slow this down and see if we can make it feel a little bit more juicy, being a little bit more attentive to every single bit of the movement. Relaxing your face completely, softening your tummy, taking another breath into the tummy. And we'll go for one more ooh here. Deep breath in. Good. Changing direction in your figure of 8. So that long, low ooh can also help you if you get woken up in the night, just to quietly take some long, low oohs whilst you lie there and try and drop back off to sleep. And it can also help when you're holding your baby, if they're irritated one day, if they're crying, if they're kind of unconsolable. If you do your oohs while you're holding them and rocking them, it will calm you down, and then they pick up on that energy. And when you're calm, then they tend to settle. So you can use your oohs then as well. Good, now we're going to tuck the toes under and just come up into a little wide dog just for a moment, a little bit of knee bending just to stretch into the calves. Ashlyn, you might want to stay here for a little bit longer than everybody else. And then everybody else, you're going to drop back down onto the knees and just take a few cat-cows here, just arching the spine gently one way and the other, keeping the elbows bent and just seeing how it feels to move through the spine. So well done, Ashlyn. Try and bend your knees quite thoroughly and tilt your tailbone up towards the sky so you get really sort of upside downy. And everyone else, just really use your tailbone now in your cat-cow to lead the movement. So you're going one vertebrae at a time. Just moving through the spine slowly one way and then the other. So coming down to join us, Ashlyn. And then just knees a little bit wide again, just an inch wider than where we were. Come down onto the forearms, chin in, and just do a few circles here, just to release around the back of the shoulders, keeping the neck super long. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Start to feel your sit bones kind of widen. This really is a great position when we're in labour. Anything on all fours or leaning forwards can help your baby into a good position. And feeling into those wide sit bones, you can feel that would give lots of space for a baby to actually come out. Good, then we'll circle back the other way, keeping the neck long and free, trying to get rid of any tension that might have built up there from the day's stresses. Taking another breath in and out. Good, and then keeping the knees down and the feet quite open, we're just going to rock back onto those toes. So the toes are under, just take a little bit of weight into the feet. And then with the hands down, you might just want to lift up one leg out to the side. So we're just kind of bringing one knee down and then the other knee opens. So I'll show you that from the front. I'm just leaning into one leg and opening up across the hips. And then I'm rolling back into the other leg and I'm just swinging that knee out to the side. I think you've all got this. Yeah, lovely. So just a nice way for you to open up through the pelvis, through the thighs. Just exploring a little bit of a different movement there. Lovely, really lovely. Well done. And now to close this little bit of our sequence, we're going to keep the knees hip distance apart. We're going to come back down onto the floor and just lengthen one arm out and take the other elbow just slightly out of the way and bring your forehead down. And then start to just lean and rest back into your bottom. So you're finding that you're having a stretch all the way down one side of the body. And the arm that's out, you're pressing that hand slightly down onto the floor. So it's got a really good contact with the floor. Breathe into that side of the body. And then when you're ready, let's just change sides and find that bit of spaciousness on the opposite side. Breathe into the sacrum. Breathe into those sit bones. Can you make a bit of space with that breath as if you're filling up a balloon in the pelvis? Softening the tummy completely, giving your baby just a little bit of wiggle room. They do lots of little micro adjustments to try to get their chins in and the crown of the heads presenting on the cervix. So this can help just give them a little bit of wiggle room to do that and get really correctly positioned. And then you can change arms again and do a second set, or you can bring both arms out and just try it with both palms pressing down, forehead down, and then just slightly leaning back into your bottom. So you're probably going to feel that all the way down across both shoulder blades, all the way kind of coming down and in towards the spine around the mid-back. So breathe into that bra strap area, breathe into that shoulder blade area, and breathe into the back of the waist. See if you can find a bit of expansion with your inhales, and then a sense of softening and release with your exhales. That's really lovely work, everybody. Good. Now we're going to come up in a moment to standing. So let's just come up to all fours so we don't feel like we're coming right up to standing in one go. Take a breather there. Maybe even lean back into the knees, into kneeling once more, just to clear your head and take a breather there. Make sure you're not seeing any spots or fuzzy lights and you've got a nice clear head. And then when you're okay to maneuver to standing, pick up both knees, step your feet to the width of the mat, lean into the heels, and then roll yourself all the way up. So the last thing to come up is the head, and you're going to roll your shoulders when you get to the top. Really lovely, everybody. Great. So feet hip distance apart, toes just turning out. We're going to bend the knees ever so slightly and just get the arms swaying. So a little bit of energizing. Think of this one as just blowing away the cobwebs. Blowing away the cobwebs from the stresses of the day. The external stresses, maybe the mental stresses in our minds. Let's just blow them away. And then as you bring your arms up over the head, see if you can reach down and tap your back. So you're trying to just open up the chest again. That's it, opening up the shoulder blades. Wonderful, really go for it, a little bit more vigorously. Keep the knees bent, tummy soft, lovely big breaths in and out. And then on your last one, we're going to let those arms relax. Keep those knees bent, and then we're going to helicopter the arms around us. And this time the head turns and it looks behind you at a point on the wall. So it might be you shut your eyes as you do the turn, but open them to find a little spot on the wall behind you. And just let those arms wrap around. Good, so this is a little bit energizing. And then as we come back to center, roll those shoulders, palms facing out, little bend in the knees, chin down, close the eyes, big sigh, and press pause in our practice. Make that little hole in the lips and start to blow out the longest thread of breath once more. So if you're blowing out 100 candles, softness in the knees, softness in the tummy. Almost imagine you're leaning back against a wall made of clay and you can feel into that imprint you're making. Just lean into that pretend wall. Feel the support from that imaginary wall behind you. Take another big exhalation. Good, and then just bringing the toes forwards, keeping them hip width apart, toes are forwards. We're going to just kind of sit down, so just bend the knees and sit into your tailbone. So the tailbone will drop towards the floor. We're going to bring the arms up as if we're holding onto a rope from the ceiling. Now, if we were holding onto an actual rope from the ceiling, we'd then be able to sit into our bottoms more. We're going to have a really lovely long spine as we kind of sit down and dangle off of that rope. And then when you're there, just do some circles as you almost sit into an imaginary chair. Lengthening your spine, making space around the pelvis, and then circling back the other way. Trying to get as long through the body as you can. And if you're in a space when you're in labour that you can hang off of something, it might be a blanket that you've rigged up round the door that you can tie a knot in and then hang off of. Sometimes birthing centres have things hanging from the ceiling, or maybe it's your partner and you've got your arms around their neck and you're kind of hanging down as you kind of dance and groove. This can be a great position for some labouring. Good, now standing up straight, let's bring the arms down. Roll the shoulders one more time. And then we're going to inhale, picking up that imaginary ball to the side. Exhale, just throw it over your shoulder. Good, deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Now into that ball, let's put any stress, anxiety, worry, irritation, impatience, sadness, anything that might be coming up with work stress, house stress, life stress, into that ball. And just for this moment, can we let that go? Can we let that go so we can just feel a bit lighter, work on our own energy levels, work on where we're putting our energy. Going to change direction. When you're ready, ladies, inhale, other side. Exhale, throw that ball away. Big sighs out. Just doing as much or as little as you can. If you need a little break, by all means stop, have a breather. Otherwise we'll do 2 more. And your last one. Good. Rolling those shoulders once more. Little bend in the knees. This time hands under the bump. Closing the eyes. Take a deep breath into your whole body. Exhale through that little hole in the lips. The knees soft. Weight firmly into the feet. Notice if you're leaning in the toes or if you're leaning in the heels. Maybe just rock back and forward just ever so slightly to have a sense of your center of gravity, which kind of drops in our body when we're pregnant as our bumps grow. So having this little play with weight into the toes, into the heels, can help us find our equilibrium and our balance. And then as you come into the center of that movement, just being really quiet for a moment, not moving at all. Taking one more long exhalation. And having a sense of rooting down through those feet. Softening everything else. Good, now we're just going to bend the knees and slowly start to walk down the thighs with the hands. Let the elbows rest on the top of the thighs, just by the knees. Hands in prayer. Let the head drop. Shoulders lift up to the ceiling. Have a sense of rounding up and over your bump. And if your bump needs a bit more space, take a wider stride with your legs. So you can tilt into the toes and drop the head lower into your forward bend without sort of squishing the top of your bump. So have a little feel into how can you get up and over that bump to come into your forward bend. Just releasing the head and the back of the neck. So let the head dangle. Maybe wobble it forward and back or side to side. Can you let the back of the neck almost empty down into the head and empty out of the crown of the head towards the floor? And then placing the hands on the floor, slowly walking forwards, drop onto both knees and grab yourself a couple of pillows or a bolster. Either put them between your legs or across the back, underneath your bottom. So you've got a little bit of height underneath the bolster or underneath a couple of pillows so that you can comfortably kneel. If kneeling isn't for you, you can come back into easy pose. So I've got my bolster between my legs, or if you've got pillows, what you might have is the pillows stacked across your ankles and your bottom on them that way round. So wherever you're comfortable in your kneeling. I've just realised I've got a massive bruise on my shin, so this is a bit uncomfortable. Right, so I'm going to finish with Mothering Lotus. It's a really lovely mudra. The hands are going to come into prayer position. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then as we inhale, let's all open the hands like a book. You're just following the hands with your eyes. Exhale, fingertips point into your heart. I might come a little bit closer. And then as you exhale, you're going to take the hands out. So they're just going to come just above your eye line. Inhale there. Then exhale, fold the hands up into lotus. So your hands are together like this, but they're facing up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready on your next exhale, hands back down to the heart. So we'll do that a little bit quicker. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, up into lotus. Exhaling, heart. And what this one means is that our hearts are open, we're very sensitive, we're very intuitive, we're connecting into that deep wisdom. And yet we can be aware of ups and downs around us, chaos and change. So we're going to have to nourish ourselves and fill up our cup. And then when we slow down enough, we can surrender to whatever's arising in our journey and kind of observe it from a distance. There's a bit of us that's always going to be okay. Inhaling. Exhaling. Thinking about that meaning. Inhaling. Exhaling. So tuning into that deep knowing, that deep wisdom. Noticing the chaos and the challenge of life around us or just in our own heads. Notice what we can do to fill ourselves up and nourish. And then slowing down enough just to have that perspective to just be with whatever is arising. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Really lovely work, everybody. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Hands to the heart. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Placing one hand on the heart, one hand on your bump again. Relaxing the arms, relaxing the head a bit lower. Softening your face. Softening your bump. And sending your babies a little smile. And a feeling of love. And it doesn't matter if you don't know what position they're in or if you know they're in a different position, but just for this moment, imagine them head down, right behind the pubic bone, back coming up around your belly button somewhere, maybe just off to one side, little bottom underneath one side of your ribs at the front, and their little feet giving you a kick around the opposite side of your waist. Just see if you can feel into that. Imagine that, maybe from a picture that you might have seen of babies in tummies. And then go beyond that. Go into the presence of your babies with you. That intimate connection. And just send them another smile and a feeling of love. So taking that with us as we turn around and lie down for Shavasana. Getting yourself as comfortable as possible, lying on your left side. If you've got bolsters, these can be really handy, or pillows. I'll just show you something. As you lie on your left side, if you put a few pillows, you can put your knee and your foot on top of them. That can be really comfortable just to keep that space around the pelvis. And then have a couple of other pillows, maybe one that you folded or two pillows under your head and your neck so you feel really supported there. And if you've had any hip ache, just roll a little bit further forward so you're slightly less off the hips and slightly more on the thigh. And just put your arms wherever they're comfortable. When you get into your comfortable seated position, I'm going to take that blowing out the candle breath one more time, taking a big breath in to your whole body and blowing out the longest exhale you can. Can you watch it completely disappear at the end of the exhalation? How does that softness of the breath feel as you let it go, as you observe your body breathing, as you observe that breath going? How does the space feel after the exhalation is done, when nothing happens? Can you kind of surrender and lean into that space, even if it's only for a few moments before the rush of the next inhale? Now that space at the end of the exhalation is said to kind of be a field of pure potentiality. So it's a really good place to kind of think about your intentions, your wish list, your desires. And when you think about those intentions or wishes or desires, just think about them in the present tense, assuming you've already got it. Maybe even assuming a feeling of gratefulness and thanks for all of those intentions, wishes, and desires. And on your next few exhalations, when you get to the end of the exhale and you're in that nothing happening field of pure potentiality where everything could happen, that potent energetic space in between every breath, just think through with gratitude and thanks all of your wishes, intentions, and desires as if you've already got them in this moment. It could be pregnancy related, birth related, baby positioning related, house related, work related. You can put as many in as you want. Just keep planting these seeds of intention. And we're just going to do that on one more exhalation, exhaling, finding that pause at the end, planting a few more seeds, and maybe making that a bit of a practice for the next few nights when you go to bed at night, focusing on the breath in this way, planting your intentions and your wishes, what you would like to have happen, and when you would like these things to happen. And then we kind of sit back with non-attachment and allow the universe to spin and weave its magic and see if any of these things unfold. And now just scanning through your whole body, feeling your body resting completely onto the floor, feeling the tips of the toes and the soles of the feet, the ankles, feeling the shins and the calves and the knees, feeling the thighs soften, the space between the hips, the softness in the tummy and the waist, shoulders and neck. Lengthen the arms to the fingertips. Softness in every muscle in the face. And just a slight weightiness in the head, just so you can release the head a little bit more. Start to now focus on the sensation of the skin across your forehead. And just notice how that might feel when we lightly concentrate on that part of our body. Keeping your attention there. The eyes are almost looking up to the center of the forehead cross-eyed whilst they're shut, but keep the eyes relaxed, don't overdo it. Helping to bring about balance to our emotions and our hormones. Maybe helping us find a little bit more calm and grounding. And then we're going to do a little visualization whilst we're nice and relaxed. So just in your mind's eye, I invite you to imagine that you're in any place that you think of where you feel warm, safe, completely secure, where there's nothing to do but rest. A space that you can just be in and enjoy. And whatever space you thought of, maybe the first one that you thought of is the one to go with. Now in your warm, safe space, just have a little look around you and notice what you can see nearby. Notice textures or colours or shapes. Notice movement or stillness. Notice light or shade. Whatever you can see is all welcome in your warm, safe space. And then start to look further away from you. What can you see all at the edges, at the furthest part of your vision? As you look all around you in your warm, safe space. And now we're going to think about what we can hear in our warm, safe space. As you rest there, enjoying this sense of just being, giving yourself permission to not do, taking in all the different layers of sound, what can you hear nearby? And then what can you hear really far away in your warm, safe space? Even noticing the taste of the air as you breathe in your warm, safe space. What is the scent? So we're using all of our senses to make this completely as real as we can. Now we're going to think about what position is our body in this warm, safe space. What shape are we taking? Where are we resting exactly? How does that feel on our bodies? Is there a texture or a temperature that we can feel on our skin? Notice all of that detail as you relax completely in your warm, safe space. Just for a moment, wherever you found yourself, just enjoy everything that you can see, everything you can hear, everything that you can smell, and everything that you can touch in your warm, safe space where there's nothing to do but relaxing completely. Now, this space is available to you at any time. When you're going to sleep at night, you can think of it. If you get woken up in the night and you're trying to go back to sleep, you can think of it. You can come to this place at any point throughout your labour and birthing journey. Use it whenever you need to recharge, to find your inner calm, to find your own self sense of safety and warmth and calm. And know that through this practice, this space will be available to you kind of on demand. So whenever you decide you need it, you can think of it and your body will relax back into this deep sense of relaxation that we've just accessed this evening. So now, wherever you are, just closing your eyes in your warm, safe space. Closing your eyes and coming back into your body. Having a sense of where you're actually resting, position of your body and what you're touching. Having a sense of the breath moving in and out of your body. And you're able to observe your body do breathing. Having a sense of the imprint you're making down onto the mat. Feeling held and supported by Mother Earth herself, always. Having a sense of the air touching your skin. Noticing the sounds you can hear around you in the space you are actually in. What can you hear in your room or in your building? What can you hear outside the window? Just allow all those noises to wash over you. And then taking a lovely big deep breath into your whole body. Just focusing on the inhales for a moment. Let the exhales happen, but really focus on those lovely big inhales. They're slightly more stimulating and energizing. And send that breath to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. So you're having that breath into the whole body. Maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes now on the next few inhalations. Maybe giving the arms and the legs a little stretch as you gently move back into your bodies. And then finally just opening the eyes, looking nearby at the floor. Just give yourselves another half a minute just to see how you feel with the eyes open after our relaxation. Take in how you feel in and around your body, how you feel mentally and emotionally and energetically. And just embed a little bit more grounding, a little bit more calm, a little bit more of a sense of being present in this moment. And then we're going to take that with us, that lovely feeling, into the rest of our evening and into the rest of our week. So just slowing down whenever we need to come back into this moment, this feeling. Now on your next inhale, have another little stretch or another little wiggle. And when you're ready, just rolling onto your hands, carefully spiraling yourselves back up into a seated position. Well done, everybody.